So my name is Angie Center, and I'm the event manager for the Carson College of Business and your host for most of the activities for Hospitality Week. So this is actually the first major event to kick off Hospitality Week, and I'm super excited because I absolutely love this event. We've done it in the past. So welcome to our Women in Hospitality panel. This is in partnership with Castell at College, and they are part of a nonprofit for the AHLA Foundation. So if you haven't looked them up, there was a short promo video in some of the pre-work information that was sent to you, and I highly recommend that you take a look at that. It's pretty short, but Castell is an entity that you need to be hooked up with if you're not now. If for no other reason, then they do give out $1 million worth of scholarships, and their application doesn't close until March 15th. So if that's not incentive to hook up, I don't know what else is, but just a great group to be involved in. And so this activity will actually be pretty engaging, not just a sit back and watch panel. So we are going to ask you to turn your camera on, please, if that's something that you're able to do. Have your first and last name in your screen name there, so that if we're talking to somebody, we can actually get you by name instead of a hey you on our Brady Bunch squares here. And I'm actually going to pass this event over to Navisha Hill, and she's going to be our moderator for today. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then the panelists introduce themselves as well. The only other note to take away from this is all of these panelists are very willing to connect with you. So again, in that pre-work, things were linked to their LinkedIn. So please go on their LinkedIn and make some connections with other people that you're seeing in this Zoom square as well. I'm on there. Amy Alonso is on there. Some of our faculty are with us today. So make sure you're making those connections, guys. That's the whole point of this. So I will pass it off to you, Navisha.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate you welcoming us to talk to you guys today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Castell at College. Woohoo! We are happy to be here at Washington State University. My name is Navisha Hill, and I'm a dual property general manager with Hilton Garden and Homewood Suites in San Diego, Del Mar, California, by way of RAR Hospitality, a management company located in San Diego. I'm looking forward to moderating today's session. We got some wonderful professionals in the hospitality industry. We hope you'll come away with a couple of key takeaways from today's session. It's possible to have an inspirational career and a family and personal life. Most of you are familiar with the important roles of operations plays in hotels, but in hospitality industry. But what the hospitality industry offers is many more exciting career choices. Our panelists today are from various areas of the industry, and we hope you'll be intrigued by some new hospitality careers after hearing about their experiences. Now, let's meet our panelists. Will each of you please introduce yourselves, starting with JJ Willis?
Hi, everyone. My name is JJ Wills. I'm a Senior Vice President of Marketing Programs and Business Development for Conference Direct, and I home office in downtown San Diego.
Thank you so much, JJ. Claudia?
Hi, I'm Claudia Alvarado. I'm the Analytics Manager for STR. I'm based in Denver, but originally from Honduras.
Thank you. And Sasha?
Hi, everyone. My name is Sasha Tani. I'm the Senior Sales Manager here at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. For private events, we're celebrating our centennial, and I'm based here in downtown LA.
Perfect. Thank you so much, ladies. We also have Lon Elliott and Peggy Berg representing Castell at College today. This program is a bit different. We actually don't have panelists to share history and background, but we hope you all enjoy watching all of the experience that we have going on with our panelists. Let's see here. I'm going to go down here to starting with our first panelist here, JJ. What is it that you actually do in your everyday life?
Well, I have actually two main areas of responsibility. The first is that I'm responsible for all of Conference Direct events. So I plan 10 to 15 meetings and conferences a year. The largest is in 1 month for 900 people in Louisville, Kentucky. So we're in crunch time. And right now, regarding that, my day includes everything from prepping speakers, finalizing registration communications. Right now, we're really in the nitty-gritty of logistics. But for the last 9 months, I booked the venue, worked on the program agenda, sold sponsorships. So there are a lot of different things I do in that role. The other part of my job is that I'm responsible for generating revenue for the company through our sponsorship program. So I manage our relationship with all of the hotel chains, as well as DMOs, destination management organizations, and our preferred vendors. And they, of course, are all trying to connect with Conference Direct and with our customers. And so I work with them to help them figure out how to execute their marketing plans against our organization to drive business to their company.
Perfect.
So I
So
get
it sounds
to
like
talk
you're
to
kind
hotel
of like
people
a
every day.
liaison.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Awesome. Sorry, I interrupted you. I apologize.
That's okay. That happens on Zoom.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. Claudia, what is it that you actually do?
So my title, like I mentioned, is analytics manager, but basically I'm a jack of many trades, master of none. So I do a little bit of everything. One of my favorite things to do is data visualization. So take large amounts of data that is just like numbers and dates and whatnot, and make it look pretty so that it's easier to digest for other people. But in doing that, I do get to work with coworkers in IT, in the database teams, marketing, business development, the journalist, executive leadership team. So I do a little bit of everything. I also work with my coworkers in Singapore, London, South America. So I'm on at random times of the day. So there's a lot of variety to my day to day.
Right. So you're on world time. You're on worldly time, not Pacific Central. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. Sasha, what is it that you actually do?
Well, what I love about my job is no 2 days are ever the same, similar to my colleagues here. What I do is I connect and create experiences for our clients and their programs here at the Coliseum. So I negotiate contracts, drive revenue. How I drive revenue is selling the space with the space that we don't use on public ticketed event days like football or concerts or things like that, and ensure that our team, and I communicate to them on the operation side, is set up for success and deliver with the highest client satisfaction, ensuring that they come back for repeat events. So just to show you what a small world this is, I work with clients like Conference Direct, which JJ works at, and I receive reports from STR, from our local DMO, LA Tourism. I get monthly reports, and that helps me trend and track and project for the building to see if we're on trend with the hotels and stuff like that. So it's all connected.
Perfect. So it sounds like all of your jobs are pretty technical. If I'm hearing right, Sasha, you're where the party is.
I like to party socially and professionally. I used my weaknesses to my strengths. Girl that talks too much in class. Controlling. I like to control a lot of things. So I'm just using my weaknesses to my strengths in my job right now.
I love that. And I think that there's something to be said about that, using your strengths and making money doing it. That's success story if I ever heard one. Perfect. Thank you, ladies. So as for myself, as a general manager of a hotel, I am responsible for overseeing all aspects of a hotel's operations and ensuring that it runs efficiently and effectively. My primary responsibilities include managing the hotel's finances, managing a team and a staff, guest satisfaction, marketing and sales, facilities management. So that would be, your safety, your engineering, overall facilities, the property in and of itself, the building, the four walls, meeting and events, compliance and regulation, also associated with engineering and the overall property in and of itself. And then overall, as a general manager, I play a critical role in ensuring that the hotel runs smoothly and that our staff, as well as myself, provide high quality guest experience for our guests. Perfect. So let's see here. Achieving work-life balance. So that's very, very hard to do. It's almost like that's not a thing anymore. So we've all failed at work-life balance and then found tools to manage it, right? Through trial and error. Can you give me an example of how you've successfully managed your own work-life balance, Claudia?
Absolutely. So like I mentioned, or like you said, like I'm on worldwide time. So I sometimes have to like block times on my evenings on my calendar so that my coworkers in other offices do not block a meeting like at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. But there are times that I have to make an exception. And this is actually one of my favorite times at work and probably not the healthiest though. We had to write an annual report. So a lot of content creation, a lot of data analysis. And I was collaborating with some of my coworkers out in London. We had a very tight deadline. So we basically had like a relay race going. Like I would work until like midnight and then it was like super early their time. And I would be like, okay, this is all the progress that I made. It's on to you. Good night. And then early in my morning, end of the day, they'll be like, this is what we did. This is on to you. So we kind of kept that going for like 4 or 5 days. We were exhausted and we're like, never again. We have to do this. So we worked on building up a better system for the next year. So it was like much smoother ride the following time. But sometimes you have to do it. You have to just roll with the punches. But if you can manage and try to inject some balance into your workday, just go for it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. Sasha, so, about work-life balance, tell us about a time your work-life balance went out of balance and how you brought it back around. What works for you?
Well, having a kid will definitely put your work-life balance out of balance. So pre-baby, it was just work all the time. You didn't have to manage any other schedules. You're just trying to grow that career, get to that next step. Do everything you can to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. But I will tell you that I was giving a full site of Universal Studios, which is where I was working at the time, 4 days before my due date. I think I scared my client because he was like, when are you due? And I'm like, 4 days. It's fine. I have my coordinator here. If I go into labor, she will finish the site. So that's just the kind of person I was pre-baby, still am. But after postpartum, there's just another human there that you have to manage and figure out how you're going to put your life back in balance, reorganizing. And I couldn't work at the pace that I was before. I was essentially putting him bed tonight and then working up until 2 a.m. and then he was waking up. So it wasn't healthy. I had serious conversations with my employer and having the work-life balance in order to support what I needed to just function in life. And they certainly did give me all the tools and support to kind of adjust my life. But knowing me and the pace that I was at Universal Studios, being at a large corporation, I told them, it's not you, it's me. I said, I cannot stop myself from working or overworking while my child is asleep. I can't let that email sit there. It's a personal problem of mine that I'm working on. What I needed to do is take myself out of the situation. So I'm still doing what I love. I'm still selling space, still involved with events and things like that, but I'm in a university environment. So the pace is at a much slower pace. And so I took myself out of the environment, even though my past employer gave me the support and everything that I needed. It's just not the type of business that I could have supported the work-life balance that I needed at the time. Currently, my child's 4, so I think I'm back up to the revving up speed. He's taking care of himself practically. But yeah, that's a shift I had to make at that point of my career.
Well, that's a beautiful story. It's really important to take note that you went to your employer and they attempted to set up a culture that worked for you as a working mother. So I think that that's important to take from the conversation for sure. Thank you so much for sharing. JJ, how do you find work-life balance? How do you do it?
Well, so I think about work-life balance sort of bigger picture, not so much day to day. So for example, when I started my career, I started in catering and I was expected to work 6 days a week. And I opened the office at 8 in the morning and I worked until dessert was served if we had a banquet that night. So really long days, lots of holidays, lots of weekends. Easily 60 hours a week was like the exception, not, that was like every week. And so it was tough, but after like 18 months, I got a ton of experience and I was able to parlay that into my next career opportunity, which gave me much more flexibility and free time. So I think that during your career, you'll find times where you're going 100 miles an hour for an extended period of time. And just know that there'll be another time where you'll be able to step back and take a break and spend more time, with your personal hobbies or family. And I think for me, that's how I look at it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I think what I took from that story and what I loved with all the stories and what I loved is that, you guys all found work-life balance through discipline and self-love, right? You knew what would work for you and you made it happen. And so, my take on finding work-life balance is just not, in my brain, I don't separate the two. It's all life, right? So, the same things that make me a really good leader, a really good general manager are the same things that make me a really good daughter, a really good friend, family member. So I'm kind of all in one person. It's just all one string of crazy. But some things that have worked for me are setting boundaries. It's important to set boundaries between work and personal life. And for me, I tried to avoid checking work emails on my days off. Like I currently work Monday through Friday. I earned that Monday through Friday. Occasionally, I will work a Saturday or a Sunday, but I really try hard to stay away from my emails because I can't just check it and walk away. Like I have to do something about what I'm reading, to Sasha's point. And it's important to communicate boundaries, with your employer, which I heard that too, having that conversation of what will and will not work for you. And your workplace should set up a culture for you to have personal time and take, vacations and sick days whenever your body needs to rest. And prioritizing self-care, taking care of yourself. For me, if I'm working a job or if I'm working in a month and I can't go for a run, then I'm not prioritizing self-care because I love to run. And so that's kind of how I measure it. If I can't work out, then I'm overworking myself. And so that's one of those things that work for me. And then calendar management is so important. When you're looking at your calendar, blocking out time to breathe, actually putting it on your calendar, do nothing for 30 minutes is super important. And taking breaks. And I cannot stress enough to use sick time when your body needs rest and it's telling you to slow down and it's telling you you're going to get sick if you don't. And vacation time, you've earned it, so use it. So that's how I go about work-life balance. So let's talk about graduation. So graduation is going to be coming up for, I'm sure, some of you. And, your first or second job after graduation. Let's talk about that, Sasha. How did you go about finding your first or second job after graduation?
Navisha, we've got just a couple more minutes in panel.
Oh, okay. Ooh, Sasha, you got a couple of minutes.
I'll be quick. I actually have got my first job out of college at a similar panel like this. The CEO of LA Tourism was speaking in my professional work experience class. And it's something that I had researched in advance and knew that's where I wanted to explore a bit further. So I engaged my professor, wrote her letter, did the resume, did all the things, heard nothing for months. Probably 8 months. In Europe, I got a call. They're like, we need some interns. And that's kind of how I started a lot of my hospitality career.
Perfect. Well, if we have at least one more minute, what about you, Claudia?
My first job after graduation, I was again also on a tight deadline. Seems like the theme of my life, but I only had like a few weeks to find a job, or else I had to go back to my home country. So I had sent applications for like revenue management training programs and all that, and nothing was sticking. One day I got a phone call from my internship supervisor, who was the manager of HR at a local hotel, and she was like, "Hey, the manager of housekeeping wants to know if you're interested in joining the team. Like, they have an opening right now." And I was like, "Oh, housekeeping, sure, let's talk about it." So long story short, we met, I got the job, and what at the moment wasn't like the shining object that I was after, it turned out to be the nugget of gold that like taught me so much about leadership, team building, and up to this day has been like one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in my career.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. How are we doing on time, Peggy?
It is time to go into breakouts. So
Right.
I'm going to put you in 4 breakout rooms. You each get your own executive here to talk to. And after about 14 minutes, I'll bring you back. We'll put a QR code up with information about the AHLA scholarships. You don't want to miss that. And then we'll do a second round of breakouts with a different one of these executives. So have a good time. Ask your questions. This is your chance to really connect and ask anything that how does this work for me?